Good day. This is Group 33, which consists of myself, Sandile Mbremi, Fanezi Masemola, Moya Habo Mtuba, Chiliti Munyai, and Genevieve Shabangu. And we will be taking you through our distributed systems project called WeShare. So, firstly, I will be giving you a brief overview of the WeShare project, followed by a more in depth look at the research, data analysis, and the technology choices that contributed to this development of this web application. The aim of WeShare is to help users efficiently track and manage their expenses, including keeping tabs on amounts owed to or by others. So, what is WeShare? WeShare is an expense tracking web application which is made to help simplify one's personal finance management. And key features that were included in this application were the ability to track your own expenses, record money owed to yourself or money that you owe to others, and to visualize your expense history. Going through this project, we were given a reference mockup PDF which showcased how the project was supposed to be structured, and if one desired, they could also style their own project as they see fit. So, a continuation of the project overview. Some of the technologies that were used were Java as the backend logic, and then Javelin, which was a lightweight Java web framework that made it easy to create RESTful APIs and to handle HTTP requests. Then we had Timeleaf, which was a Java template engine that allowed us to dynamically generate HTML for a seamless user experience. Then we had Selenium, which was crucial for automation testing, especially for simulating user interactions and validating browser compatibility. Then we had JUnit, which was a testing framework which we used to ensure our unit tests were consistent and reliable. And this framework helped us catch bugs early in the development process. Then lastly, we have your Git and your GitLab, with Git used for version control and GitLab used for project collaboration, tracking changes, and managing feature branches. Then some extras that were used include Google and ChatGPT for reference in research and guidance. And then we have our main code editors, which were IntelliJ and Visual Studio Code. And then we have Firefox and Google Chrome, which were used to identify client performance and compatibility across browsers. So now I will be taking you through the research and analysis that went into the WeShare project. So firstly, we have the use of technology for the research and analysis, which was when we leveraged digital tools, resources, and platforms to gather, interpret, and organize information efficiently, which included accessing various online resources and utilizing the technology to enhance understanding of complex topics. So, for example, this included search engines that would find documentation, exploring tutorials on platforms like YouTube, or consulting online development forums such as Stack Overflow. Secondly, we had the planning and the documentation of the research, which included creating a structured plan to manage time, resources, and methods used in a project. This helped to keep track of the progress and to ensure that the project stayed on the track with clear milestones. So, for example, we had to establish a timeline for each phase of the development, listing primary research sources and documenting our findings in shared documents or project management tools like your Miro, your Trello, or Jira. Thirdly, we had the assessment of the conclusions, which was when we evaluated the research outcomes to ensure the solutions chosen are effective and they meet project requirements. Involved testing, reviewing results, and making adjustments as necessary. So, this was when we ran tests to verify cross browser compatibility, which was tested with Selenium and JUnit as mentioned before. And then we had the presentation where we use digital presentation skills to convey the research findings, the project processes, and conclusions. So we used your Canva or goal slides, where we would include charts that would illustrate data or embedded screenshots to showcase each user interface and test results. Then we had the web development tools, which were used to create, maintain, and improve websites and web application. So this was your Visual Studio Code, which was used for writing HTML and CSS. And then we had our Git for version control and GitLab for collaboration. Lastly, the web browser plugins, which are extensions that are added to web browsers to enhance functionality and assist with development tasks. For example, we had the Selenium WebDriver for automated testing, browser development tools for inspecting HTML and CSS, and performance analyzers that were used to check page load speeds. Showing you the mockup PDF that was used for reference. So, as we can see, for each story had different scenarios of what the user experience was supposed to be like. So the user had a story for logging in for the first time, for capturing an expense, when they needed to send a payment request to another person, or when that student had to make a payment request received from another person, or a student had to see the payment made by the other person. So, in conclusion, WeShare was developed by leveraging reliable tools and conducting thorough research to ensure a smooth and intuitive user experience.
I am Fanese. I'll be taking you through a cost or benefit analysis for WeShare, a social expense tracker. It evaluates the financial and operational implications of the project. And then what we will be looking at is what is the cost or what is the cost benefit analysis? Why does it matter for a WeShare and project costs? Before you do anything, you have to know what is cost benefit analysis. It's a method for evaluating the financial and operational viability of a project by comparing the expected cost against the anticipated benefits. The purpose is to inform decision making regarding the investment in the WeShare project. The components of cost or benefit analysis include project cost, which include resources, time, and financial investment. Also, project benefits. It has an enhanced social trust, simplified payment tracking, and improved user experience. Its purpose is when understanding both cost and benefit allows for clearer assessment of the project potential return on investment. I'll be taking you into project cost breakout. For comprehensive project cost breakout, we have total project cost for front end. It's 32,000, back end 26,000, additional cost. For instance, your management cost and hosting can be 15,000. Total estimated project cost is 73,000. Consideration of additional resources, extra team members or extended timeline could increase by 10,000 or more. Here is a graph showing that for front end it's 32,000, back end 26 and 15,000. The estimated time for key features is as follows. Time estimated breakdown. We have the front end development, which will take 15 hours, back end development 20 hours, testing and integration 10 hours. The total estimated time is 45 hours. The payment request feature is a subset of the larger project deliverable, integral to the user experience. Effects of late delivery, potential impact of delays, user satisfaction. Users may face frustration due to ineffective expense tracking. Dependency on payment feature. Delays could hinder other features reliant on accurate payment tracking. Increased cost. Delay may lead to additional 5,000 in debugging and testing. While initial cost may exceed benefits, the long-term user value and market potential indicate a favorable outcome. In summary, the WeShare project, despite its initial high cost, holds significant promise for the future user engagement and satisfaction. The next step is to refine estimates and conduct user testing to gather feedback and also explore funding opportunity or partnership to support development.
My name is Chidi Zibunyai. Today, I'm excited to walk you through WeShare. In our group, we believe in positive criticism. Hence, we request and accept feedback from our audience as we know that the project that we are creating or we are trying to sell is a project that should have them in mind. So their feedback and opinions matters to us. I believe that during the showcase of our presentation, everyone in the audience will be entertained as we will showcase on how the project came about, and they will also receive educational background based on how the project came about, and also receive educational advice on how to handle their finances more better in the future. I also believe that this will motivate people to take their financial management skills a lot more important than we already know and do currently in our lives. Our presentation shares clear and crystal information about our application, on how to log in, how to use the application, and everything that you as an audience may need to know about our application. And last but not least, I believe that our presentation created awareness to our audience to know that they can manage their finances better by projects such as WeShare that we have created. Thank you. Our presentation includes research and data analysis that was conducted during the course of our project. We have shown on how much cost we spent on this project, our benefit analysis, and the time estimation that it took for this project to be completed. We have also researched on the tools that we use to create our web application. I believe that our presentation is organized as we have all followed the required guidelines, as we have all followed the guidelines on the curriculum. Thanks to Canva, we managed to make our presentation creative and colorful and appeasing to the audience's eyes. As I've mentioned earlier, that our target audience are our friends, and I believe that our presentation is suited for environments such as within code, whereby we make our fellow peers to know and understand the financial management that they can have with our application. All our group members make eye contact with the audience, as this is the way that we can interact with the audience more effectively. During our presentation, we have used English as a language, as we know and believe that our audience can and will be able to understand and also interact back to us with the language. During the presentation, we have all ensured that our voices are audible, and if there's a person that did not hear what we are saying, we can make adjustments so that also they can be part of our presentation. By making eye contact with our audience, we believe that we are opening a platform for them to interact back to us, for them to give us their opinion so that we can make our application more effective with their opinions in mind. We've also made an impact that we Our presentation includes research and data analysis that was conducted during the course of our project. We have shown on how much cost we spent on this project, our benefit analysis, and the time estimation that it took for this project to be completed. We have also researched on the tools that we use to create our web application. I believe that our presentation is organized as we have all followed the required guidelines, as we have all followed the guidelines on the curriculum. Thanks to Canva, we managed to make our presentation creative and colorful and appeasing to the audience's eyes. As I've mentioned earlier, that our target audience are our friends, and I believe that our presentation is suited for environments such as within code, whereby we make our fellow peers to know and understand the financial management that they can have with our application. All our group members make eye contact with the audience, as this is the way that we can interact with the audience more effectively. During our presentation, we have used English as a language, as we know and believe that our audience can and will be able to understand and also interact back to us with the language. During the presentation, we have all ensured that our voices are audible, and if there's a person that did not hear what we are saying, we can make adjustments so that also they can be part of our presentation. By making eye contact with our audience, we believe that we are opening a platform for them to interact back to us, for them to give us their opinion so that we can make our application more effective with their opinions in mind. We've also made an impact that we in our group we believe in positive criticism, hence we request and accept feedback from our audience, as we know that the project that we are creating or we are trying to sell is a project that should have them in mind. So their feedback and opinions matters to us. I believe that during the showcase of our presentation, everyone in the audience will be entertained as we will showcase on how the project came about, and they will also receive educational background based on how the project came about, and also receive educational advice on how to handle their finances more better in the future. I also believe that this will motivate people to take their financial management skills a lot more important than we already know and do currently in our lives. Our presentation shares clear and crystal information about our application on how to log in, how to use the application, and everything that you as an audience may need to know about our application. And last but not least, I believe that our presentation created awareness to our audience to know that they can manage their finances better by projects such as WeShare that we have created. Thank you.
WeShare is a social expense tracker that makes it easy to manage shared expenses among friends. WeShare is built to track expenses and payments in a straightforward, user friendly way. Unlike complex financial apps, WeShare only requires an email to log in, so it's easy to get started. This app is also about creating trust between friends and simplifying the shared expenses. The purpose of WeShare is to help friends easily track the expenses that they share. So imagine you're out for lunch with your friends and you cover the bill. WeShare allows you to log the expense and create the payment request for your friends' share. This way, everyone knows exactly what they owe and it's easy to pay each other back. WeShare is perfect for informal social settings where you might occasionally cover expenses for each other. Let's take a look at the main features for WeShare. Um, we start with the login page. Since WeShare is a simple expense tracker, all that's needed is to log in with an email address. Once you're logged in, you're directed to the dashboard where you will see an overview of your recent expenses and paid request. From the dashboard, you can navigate to the Add Expense page where you can record a new expense and, if necessary, set up payment requests for your friends who owe you. There's also a payment request page showing people you owe money, and a transaction page where you can view detailed records of your expenses and payments. This layout keeps everything organized and easy. Very, very, very easy to find. Now let's go over the main transaction or the user experience. First, you add an expense. After you log in, right, you add an expense. Um, yes, First, you add an expense. So this is where you enter the details of what you paid for and how much you spent and the date of the expense. So if you paid on behalf of your friends, you can also create a payment request. Here you specify the amount each friend owes you. For example, if you covered like lunch for 300 rand for each for two friends. You can send one friend a request for 80 and another friend for 120, depending on how they owe you. Finally, when your friends pay you back, you can mark each request as paid. This updates your expense record to show that the debt has been settled. You can also see who still owes you money on the people you owe page, which is useful for tracking your own outstanding payments that you might owe some people. Excuse me. One of WeShare's main advantage is its simplicity. From the clean design to the intuitive layout, every feature is designed to be straightforward. The dashboard is your central hub, giving you quick access to all key actions. Adding expenses and sending payment requests are both easy with clear forms and prompts that guide you through each steps. Buttons and labels are large and easy to read, reducing guesswork for the user. We've also used consistent icons and colors to indicate when actions are new, expenses are added, and marking payments is complete. This simplicity of the WeShare app makes it very approachable and you don't have to be tech savvy like to use this thing at all. Sorry. Let's look at some of the features, right? So we have the HTML elements, then we have the CSS features. We'll look at both of them. So CSS features used to bring WeShare to life. The HTML structure is built with semantic tags like the header, the navigation bar, the main, and the footer to keep the content organized. These tags make the site more accessible and readable, not only for the user, but also for search engines, right? Each form, like the login or the expense entry, is created using form, input, and buttons tags. Each clear label to clear the user to give guide to the user through each interactions. We use CSS classes and IDs to style these components, allowing us to control layout, color, spacing, consistency across the site. We also use a flexbox and a grid layout in CSS to align items on the page responsibly so the site looks good on both the desktop and mobile devices. In addition, media queries to help ensure that the layout adjust based on the screen size, enhancing user experience across different devices. So now we're going to go into the demo. As you can see, the server is already running. Just going to go to the server here. So first you log in. You put your email address and then you log in. I apologize for the slow Wi-Fi. After logging in, I'll this is the dashboard, right? Where you have expenses, you have payment requests sent, you have payment requests received, and you can also log out. Now let's add an expense. So we'll add a new expense. Seems like WeShare has stopped responding. So I will just go open the link again. I'll log in. It's a bit of a Wi-Fi issue, but we'll go through it. So I'm gonna add an expense. And we're back. So what I wanted to do was add an expense. So let's say I paid for lunch, right? So I'm gonna create a request. So we have lunch. This was today. Today is the 3rd of the 11th month, 2024, and I paid for, that is a crazy expensive lunch. So I'll share this with my friends, right? I'll add this expense and now it's added to my list. So as you can see, I have lunch, and let's say I bought one of my friends some shoes. After lunch, I was feeling generous, even though you're gonna have to pay me back, and the sandals were $100. So it's gonna keep adding those expenses, right, to my list. So when a friend pays me back, so nobody owes me anything at the moment, and I don't owe anybody anything, right? So after I add the expense, let's say I log out. Let me log out, and then now I'm somewhere out. I'm someone else. So I'm student 3 at gmail.com. And then I payment request send. There is nothing there. So I add an expense, and let's say I bought dinner today, and dinner was 500 rand, right? So when I click on dinner, I can request this person, so the email of the address of someone that pays you. So Chiliti owes me, and out of that $500, she needs to pay me 300, right? And the date is today, 03/11/2024, and then I submit this. And Has she paid? No, she hasn't. So I log out and I log in as myself. Payment request received. So as you can see, I owe someone dinner, right? I owe them 300 bucks, right? I can also do the same. I can send student 3 for lunch. I say, bro, you owe me lunch, and the amount is 150. Sorry, email address. I think I said student 3, and it's today. You owe me for dinner today. So when I log out, right, student 3 owes me this much and whatnot and whatnot. Have they paid? No, they have not. So then I log out, and now I'm student 3. Student 3 now owes dinner, right? They owe me dinner now. So have I received anything? No, I haven't. But if they pay, then it says gone, right? They paid, it's done. So 0 unpaid, but they owed me this much. And then I log out of here, and then I'm cheating again. As you can see, it's a excuse me. Why is it not showing? It's sending each other requests and all these things. So to wrap it up, WeShare is a simple, intuitive app that meets the needs of friends sharing expenses. With an easy login, straightforward navigation, as you can see, there's nothing distracting, right, about what you have going on here. It's a simple login, a simple dashboard, straightforward tracking of your expenses and your payment requests. WeShare keeps things pretty organized without overwhelming the user. We used CSS, Timeleaf, right? We used HTML effectively to create this clean layout that you see and responsive design, ensuring that it's a seamless experience for the user. So thank you for following along, and I hope this demonstration has given you a sense of the simplicity, the structure, and the functionality that makes WeShare so effective. I'll pass it over to my colleague, Genevieve. Thank you.
Good day, my name is Nokulunga Shabango, and I will be taking you through the web development tools. Um, so these are the questions that I will be answering throughout the last part of the presentation. We're going to start with the editors and the maintenance tools. So for the editors, we just have examples like Sublime Text, Atom, VS Code, because these tools are just designed to edit the HTML code. So these highlight a lot of the syntax, code completion, and they also do error checking, error handling. We have the maintenance tools where we have GitHub, WordPress, Figma. So these tools are just designed to help manage, monitor, and optimize your website or anything and how you would like for it to look. We're going to go into the advantages and the disadvantages. So let's start with the editors. The editors just have like speed and performance. So these are like lightweight, quick to launch. They're proper for fast coding. They have extensive plugins and themes, so devs can usually just tailor their environment. Some of them are like multi-language support, so they support various programming languages, and they just enhance versatility in development. The disadvantages for some of those editors are that they can just be very overwhelming for beginners due to like how many features they have and all the shortcuts. It's just very limited. Like what you see is what you get. So they don't offer like any design interface that maybe you would prefer, especially if you want something like a graphical approach. Sometimes they just have like poor performance, especially on like older systems. So it's always good to just like keep up with what is new and what would work better for you. And when we go into the tools, most of those tools are like user friendly. So it's like they help make your content management like so much simpler, especially for people that like aren't devs. Version control for GitHub is one of the best to facilitate, especially collaboration amongst developers. Um, Figma really also enables multiple users to work on designs together at the same time, which promotes so much teamwork. The disadvantages for the tools would be that they can be targets for attacks if they aren't properly maintained. They also require like stable internet connection. So if you don't have, so you won't particularly see most of the things that you could do with it. And especially with like the Git commands, they can be very challenging for beginners or people that like aren't developers. So we're going to go into the file formats. So we have the basic file formats here. We have HTML, which is just the standard language you use to create the structure and content of web pages. It mainly just defines headings, paragraphs, links, and images and how you want it to work. It goes hand in hand very well with CSS because then now this starts controlling the layout and how you want to visually present your web application. So this is now when you start dealing with your styling, your colors, your fonts, and the spacing. And then we have JavaScript, which is like a language that enables interactive features on the website. So this is mainly just used to enhance like the user experience. And then we have a JSON format, which is just an interchange format that is easy for humans to just read and to write. It's mainly used to just to transmit the data between like the server and the web app. And then file formats like JPG or JPEG. We've got PNG, we've got an SVG. These are just ideal formats for photographs. They also support transparency for graphics, and they also used just to keep the logos and the icons, and it just well, it makes them retain the quality at any size. When we go to like the role of browser plugins, right? So these are just components that extend the capabilities of browsers. They allow the user to customize the browsing experience and add new features. So what plugins basically do is that they just introduce specialized features. They help with performance analysis, media integration, help improve user experience, right? And just create productivity. So a couple of examples would be like your ad blockers, where they just prevent the unnecessary ads that a lot of us face most of the time. Then you have like your search engine optimization tools, which just assist users in like analyzing web page performance. So it's better for like content searching, and like engine visibility. And then you have password managers, which just like they store and they autofill your passwords, which just like makes it easier for users to just log in onto multiple pages and just while enhancing the security as well, so you don't continuously have to remember the password. So the major plugins types currently on the market are things like the ad blockers, like I said before, where they just remove the ads. We have privacy extensions, which help protect user privacy by blocking any trackers. Also for cookies and things like that, we have productivity tools. So here, this is like, it helps a lot with like task management, but this is just integrated into the browser, which makes it very seamless, especially when you're just searching on the web. We've got dev tools, so developer tools just enhance like the web development tasks and everything like a developer would naturally have to do, like the search engine optimization tools that like I've explained before, which just like optimize websites. We've got social media integrations now, which allow users to schedule and share content directly from their browser. So this just makes it seamless, especially if like you're on multiple social media applications and it's just easier to just transition from one to the other. grammar and spell check. So this helps like for writing any type of content, punctuation, styling errors. This also helps with like communication and how you can convey messages. And then we have shopping assistants. So these are just tools that find and apply coupon codes during like online shopping. This enhances user experience like a lot, and it also helps the user save a lot of money. This is the end of the presentation. Thank you for giving us the time and listening.